Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Daily Briefing. Why am I hosting this? It should be you, right?
No, because you're interviewing us
Yeah,
about
you're
the Daily
the Briefing man. Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Daily Briefing. Special in that it's between Christmas and New Year. We're not in the office, so we had to pre-record something. I'm here with the Daily Briefing team, which includes Rory Taylor.
Hello.
Ben Blissett.
Hello.
And of course, the legend and hero,
Wow.
Scarlett Watchorn.
Thank you.
The
Wow.
reason the Daily Briefing actually gets
I wasn't
out.
expecting that. Thank you very much.
No offense to this
So
side
true.
of the table.
Yeah.
but slackers.
Thanks. I'll have to bleep that. Thanks.
Oh, sorry. I'll try
You're
that
making
again.
Scarlett more work.
In this episode, we're going to have a conversation about the Daily Briefing. This is the team that does the Daily Briefing every day. So we thought, we'll sit down, talk
Have a
briefing.
chat.
Been doing it nearly a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Wow.
it a year? Nearly a year?
No.
Last spring.
It's April 4th.
Oh,
Yeah,
Come
about
on.
8 months.
Almost a year.
Round it
It's
up.
like
Yeah.
3/4.
Okay. We've been
Sorry,
doing it.
yes.
We've been doing it for a little bit now.
Yeah.
Little bit.
Some of us have done it cumulatively
before.
more than a year.
So the Daily Briefing came back this April.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
But it's been around before.
It has been around before.
Yeah,
I don't
give us
honestly.
some history.
I should have checked date. So I think this was in 2020 that we started doing it.
Yeah.
I think it was about when I started
We
full
started
time, which would have been
2020, yeah.
July-ish. We started doing the Daily Briefing, and it started off as just an email newsletter, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then, that was just me writing it, and
Yeah.
it was sent round. And then I
Then it
did it
became
as a
a podcast.
podcast, so
Yeah.
I just recorded it. Then it was a video as well, but there was no presenter, so it was the audio with just some
basic
video
Yeah.
on there. So it's just sort of a podcast with a video element. Then that went on for a little while. And I don't think the first version ever had a visual presenter for
It
it.
did.
Did it?
Because Alex Reed used to do all the cards for it, remember?
So how did we do it? Because we were in lockdown.
Just from home.
Oh, was that you? That
It
was you
me
doing it in your
normally from
webcam?
my webcam, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It looked great.
Did it?
I liked it.
Ah,
Yeah.
it had a,
So that was the
had a real pandemic
Watched couple,
vibe.
yeah.
Right, interesting.
so that was the original
Lasted
Daily
about
Briefing.
a year.
It did. Almost exactly. Because then it was. I think we cancelled it maybe March or something. 21.
Yeah.
So that was almost exactly a year, and I think we did over 200 episodes of the original
Oh,
Daily
yeah,
Briefing,
easy.
which I think is it more than we've
Probably
we've done
similar. We're approaching a similar number now.
Oh God.
And also, so that means we're approaching like 500 cumulatively, right? Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
we've done a lot of those, and then we cancelled the first one just because
Yeah.
it wasn't getting many views,
No.
which in hindsight I think makes a lot of sense. It wasn't well polished, I think is fair to
Sure.
say. I think that the
The
I
bedroom
still think
energy
it was good.
worked for COVID.
Yes, but it was out of
Yeah.
necessity that it couldn't
Yeah.
be polished, but I think the audience didn't particularly like that. I also think that there was minimal effort put in from our side, which meant like thumbnails weren't as ideal as they could be,
Sure.
and things like that. So that was sort of cancelled in March, and then we brought it. When did we bring it back? We brought it back
March,
in
April this year.
March,
Almost exactly
April,
a year
so
later.
a year later.
We're in a
So it was
real
on
rhythm
hiatus for a year.
Of
Yeah.
years.
God.
If we can get through March next
I know,
year, then
that's
it's
huge.
going to survive.
Never end. We'll be doing this until we die.
And then we brought it back, and it was who was doing it? Who was doing it originally? Who was doing all the editing behind
Scarlett.
the scenes?
I
Yeah.
started
You brought
weeks
it back because of
before,
Scarlett.
You stopped
yeah.
that because of you. Oh, I
Started.
see.
Yeah,
And
it
then we
wasn't
did it.
why I started, but
In
But
the end, it
that's
was.
how
in the
it
end
was.
it was. Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason,
Yeah,
eh, Scarlett?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
do you
been
want to talk about? So it's been around for 8 months in its new format. In that time, it's grown from 35-ish thousand subscribers to about 125,000.
Well, it was even lower.
Yeah.
I think it was in the 20,000s
Was it really?
when we started doing this, and
It
it's
was
now
low.
on 120.
Yeah.
It's grown 100,000.
Yeah.
it was
That's
it's
crazy.
125,000
So a big
currently.
year. Do you want to talk us through like what happens each day? It's like a little day in the
Yeah.
life.
Does anyone else want to? I feel like you've spoken a
I'll
lot.
jump in
Go
since
on.
I'm involved at the start of the day. I mean, we do have the new regime in
Oh.
so
Project Zeus.
I'll talk
Project
in general
Zeus.
terms. Usually at some point in the morning, say 10 o'clock, it's usually 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Ben and I will meet to, sorry, I'll talk into the microphone. We'll meet to discuss potential stories that we've seen that we want to include.
Yeah.
The main, obviously we've got 3 short stories and then a kind of longer spotlight
Mhm.
story. The main decision is what do we do as a spotlight, because that's most important one because it goes in the thumbnail and the title. So that is,
And also requires much more
yeah,
word count.
exactly. So that's
It's fairly common, I'd say, that I hear you say, like, this is a really good thumbnail, but, like, we can't get 400 words out of this.
yeah. So that's the thing that causes us the most stress, probably, in
I
the
would
morning, deciding that main story. So that's in the morning. We choose those stories from a range of sources. We'll look at all sorts of things, try and make it as international as kind of globally spread as possible with the various stories. We'll assign the writing of the stories between us. Occasionally I say me and Ben, in the past we've had Nelson on the writing team. He occasionally sometimes still contributes.
Zach has in the past.
Zach has, sometimes you have as well.
Some of the contributors from around the world have occasionally. Generally, though, it's you two.
Yeah, pretty much.
These days.
Yeah. And then we get writing. We start writing stories.
Yeah.
10:30ish normally. Bit before that, 10:15, 10:30ish.
Yeah, and then as we're writing them, obviously Scarlett starts to do the editing on it. So she starts to put together the cards that you see at the top right of the screen.
Those little boxes.
The little boxes.
It's all me.
All you. All you.
So I'm sorry if there's any mistakes. I'm sorry.
Oh, not the Slovenia controversy.
God, don't remind me.
Yeah. And then about midday, I come here and I record the main section.
Come into the studio.
Come into the studio, get all that done, and then we do the discussion separately
At
in the
some
afternoon.
point in the afternoon.
Um,
But from midday onwards, once you've recorded, it kind of that's the big transition. I mean, Scarlett starts animating earlier in the day, but like from that point, it's all on you.
It is all on me.
Well, we've started now with Project Zeus, which is an attempt to try and increase the efficiency of the daily briefing, which mainly includes Rory and I writing a story or two in the evening. The night before.
Just having something prepared by the time we meet.
So that Scarlett, when she comes in, she can immediately start working on a story without having to wait for us to write one.
Otherwise, if you guys meet at 10 and then takes 20 minutes to decide your topic list maybe, and then it's, I don't know, another minimum 20 minutes until the first story is completed for Scarlett to start.
It's always good to have one story just to do while you guys are discussing.
And then in the afternoon, what's that look like for you, Scarlett?
Well, I get all the footage. Ben's incredible voiceover, very good.
Incredible eyebrows.
Incredible eyebrows, I've heard. And then I cut it up into the individual stories, and then after that, then I put all the cards on, add the little title sequence, find fun videos for the beginning. And then we get discussion a bit later. Sometimes I'm in here when that happens. Most of the time I'm not. And then I just plop it on the end. Yeah.
And then upload.
Yeah.
Nebula takes a while to load normally.
Nebula does take a while to load.
And we have the difficult part for us is obviously doing the spotlight every day, but I think the separately difficult part is getting a thumbnail sorted. Which I think, when we talk about the daily briefing as well this year, I think it's worth noting that it's, obviously the subscribers have grown quite a lot. But even since starting doing the daily briefing, we've seen views increase hugely as well. Yeah. So when we started doing it, we used to have thumbnails that had, we used to do 3 stories, and it'd be a sort of a section of maybe 2 of them.
The original daily briefing used to have... The original daily briefing used to have 3 stories and all 3 would be in the thumbnail. Yes. Then we changed it to 2.
Crazy.
Original.
Yeah. Then we changed it to 2 by the end of the original daily briefing. Then when we brought it back, we had 2 in thumbnail, but it was out of 5 stories.
It was just the most interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then this summer we pared back to 1 big story, 3 smaller stories, and the big story was the thumbnail on its own.
Yeah.
Which has definitely been significantly more successful.
Wonders.
Which has really helped. So
great inflection.
Yeah.
So what that's done is we used to maybe 2 or 3 months ago the best daily briefing video would get 29,000.
Yeah.
So that would be like a 1 of 10 really good video. That was huge.
28,
29 would be thrilled about.
Yeah.
Now we've got multiple 100,000 view daily briefings. 60, 70,000 is fairly common now.
And if it's like 30 something K, we're usually a bit like, that's a
disappointing.
Well, it's only only a couple of months ago that would have been totally different. So
So it's seen quite a significant amount of growth, which is really good news. So clearly, I think that is partially because of the thumbnail. I think obviously just being regular with it, with people seeing that it is every day. Yeah. Obviously, we have days where we are off, and there are days where we should do a Nebula section every day, but for various staffing reasons and things like that, we're not able to do that. But I think the regular nature of it, alongside the change in in the thumbnail is really useful, and that has really helped. So I think it's doing of all the variations of the daily briefing, this one is by far the strongest.
People are loving it.
People are loving it, and I'm loving it too.
It came third in the TLDR Awards this year for Channel of the Year.
It did.
That's huge.
Bronze medal.
Bronze is good.
Considering
we've got like 15 channels.
I'll take bronze.
Bronze is pretty good.
That's really big, yeah.
What are your thoughts for next year of Daily Briefing? What's the next big innovation?
Question.
A live stage show.
Whoa!
So I don't want to jump the gun too much, but I want to have a big conversation about how to change the Nebula exclusive sections.
Sure.
So I want to try and shuffle that around a little bit.
Have some new exciting things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also think just always trying to figure out how to make the whole system of us doing it faster and slicker and just better. It would be ideal, honestly, if we were to have more contributors. I think that would be brilliant from just increasing the diversity of story. I think the difficult part, and I'm sort of addressing this at you, Rory, because you write it as well. The difficult part with writing is when you have a story that you don't know anything about. That is always because obviously everybody has their own sort of niches of what they write about. When it's a UK story, everybody wants to write that one because they sort of know how to do it. Yeah. But when it's a story about Sao Tome and Vanuatu, things like that, like very hard to know what the background is. And to try and get that right. So it's
and I think that comes across when choosing stories as well, because you have to remind yourself that it's not like you're not choosing something that you're just interested in. It's got to be for the audience, and I don't know how much my own personal interests align with the audience. Sometimes they seem to, and other times you do a spotlight story on something that I think is really interesting and it completely bombs.
I also next year I want to start trying to because we now are getting to the point where we've got a lot of data on videos. We've done a lot of videos daily. We've got a lot of information now about what topics people like and people want to watch, and which ones they don't want to watch so much. Where I feel like it's kind of guesswork at the minute based on, but we've got enough data that we can look at that more empirically and go, look, the top viewed videos are about these topics, and of the percentage of topics of the time we've covered this topic, it's been like 1 of 2, 3 of 10 of the most recent 10 videos. And I just think trying to use the data that we're sort of getting in a smarter way could really help the channel and help it grow more, which I think would be a smart way of doing things. But we just haven't really had time to sit down and get that set up yet. But I think that would be a really good way of sort of trying to figure out what the audience likes and giving them more of it, which would be good.
Also, let us know in the comments. What do you want to see more of?
I have a controversial idea.
Go on.
Very controversial, but the success of Zach hosting the daily briefing.
I can see where this is going.
I think it'd be nice to pop in a little Zach occasionally. Little Rory hosted.
Little Rory.
Little Rory hosted.
I don't know how
Little
people react to
that. No, not me. I'm too busy.
Okay.
But Ben, still main host, of
course.
No. I'm not asking for less. Not asking for less Ben.
People in the comments are.
I'm just saying how popular Zach was. He loves Zach. So
and now he's mastered where to put his hands. He can go straight into it.
I certainly think there's something to be said about novelty.
Yes, that's it. It's novelty, isn't it?
Wow.
Zach was a huge novelty that day.
Yeah,
People loved it.
Yeah, I am obviously Joe. I'm more than happy for there to be guest hosts. I think that'd be very good. I think it'd be,
guest host is a good word.
I think that would be really good. Also doing it every day, I'm more than happy to not do it as much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Sure.
So
also on the more you sides of things, Scarlett, we're going to be, not you specifically, but like the more video side, we're going to be pulling more of them and turning them into shorts. That won't be your job, but you'll be part of the video process.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, some fun stuff there.
Yeah, because like they're all set up to be
short,
that length.
Yeah, exactly.
It's set up to be a minute long, so it does seem perfect that they would be a short. Yeah.
Finally, there was 2 pieces of feedback I saw in the negative and positive comments that resonate. Firstly, I'll start with the negative. People saying they want less UK coverage. Right. They want more international, which something you've already touched on. Can I get a commitment from you both that 2023 will see more global stories?
I'm very happy to commit to that.
I would agree. I agree that we should. I'm very much
in
favour.
What politicians answer?
I'm very much in favour of international content, and I think that we do try to make sure that we have a balance of topics covered. I think sometimes there are maybe 2 UK stories, but the maximum that it has ever been in the last 2 or 3 months of any UK stories is 2 in a day.
Yeah.
I think we work really hard to try and make it. And there are very, very frequently, there are 0 UK stories.
I would assume that feedback is less like this, this one episode has got lots of things, but it's like the topics you choose on the UK, if that happened in France or South Africa, you wouldn't include it. So why include it if it's in the UK?
Which I think is a fair point. I do also think our audience is quite British.
Exactly.
So it's like they will be more interested just naturally. So we're appealing to people who are going to watch the videos because that's our job.
I do also, and I think this is just more of a realistic sort of expectation setting thing. You've now met everybody who is, work on Daily Briefing.
Yeah.
There were 3 of us. And some days there is very little news. And it's a lot, it's just a natural byproduct. So some newspapers have, writing staff of a huge amount. There's 2 of us who have a couple of hours in the morning to put this together. That is the only way that this project works. So sometimes we do just need to do a story that we can write and we can write about confidently because there isn't much news that day. And unfortunately, in those situations, it is just natural that we will default back to UK. So I'd love to be able to easily say, yeah, of course, we're going to do loads of, but I'm just trying to be realistic about the project's viability and our ability to actually write it in a timely manner in the morning.
If you have to do it quickly and there's not a good story, you'd rather do a quick something that you're confident in and is right because it's a topic you're comfortable with than risk it and kind of semi-wing it. Like, we'd rather do UK coverage than coverage that's rushed and wrong. So,
but don't get me wrong,
yeah, I agree.
I'm very much like and we should...
To nail you both down, more global.
Yes.
Come on, Ben.
Yes.
I think we do it. Yes. Okay. Yes.
The other one, the positive feedback was people really liked the good news stories in Daily Briefing.
Yes.
That's a new innovation or newish.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm very happy we do them. It's people really like them.
Yeah.
It's good. I like them.
I agree.
They're fun.
And sometimes it's nice. I will admit I was kind of skeptical of that idea when we kind of initially rolled it out. Because I always think of these good news stories as that's kind of just fluff, it's meaningless, whatever. But actually, there is like genuine, like it doesn't feel like just fluff. It's like its own story, and it is
absolutely.
consequential, whether it's technology related, science.
I think also people like that we generally choose stories that aren't like the generic man raises X amount for his wife's cancer treatment, because that's kind of bleak because of the political implications of the fact that had to be a story. So I think people like that the stuff we're choosing isn't just like that kind of thing that kind of has a negative implication too. It's much more just generically like, this is cool.
Yeah,
which is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
Love it.
Well, keep it up.
We'll be doing that, and I think that you're right about the topic selection with that. Just trying not to make it too sort of political. And there's all that stuff about we've done a lot of sciencey stories, which we wouldn't really cover anywhere else. Which is there's that nuclear fusion story we did the other day, which then everybody else covered right after we did it. I'm not trying to blame anyone here, but we covered it quite early on.
Trailblazing,
exactly. Trailblazing journalism.
That's what people
say
about
people describe us.
You walk down the street, that's all you're hearing. Well,
when do you reckon you're getting your Pulitzer Prize, Rory? I'm still waiting. Still haven't offered it
weird,
yet.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I got mine. Come on, guys. It's a bit embarrassing.
It's a bit chuggy.
Don't say that.
Thank you all for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
I think we're having a lovely Christmas, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm working.
Very, very nice Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't take your holiday.
No.
But you can have a lovely New Year, I'm sure, right?
Sure.
I want feedback in the new year.
I will give
First Daily Briefing back.
So much
the good news
feedback.
story is entirely on your new year, so it better be damn
Just
good.
from my home.
Just you. Oh yeah, you should film it.
Good news from the Watch On household.
Yeah, I'd love that. Like bang on midnight.
Okay, brilliant.
Everyone's there.
Okay.
On them filming on cameras, lots of angles.
It would just be me and my mum, so there'll be 2 angles.
It's not enough angles.
No,
but you can film each other.
Okay, all right.
We'll lend you a DSLR.
All right. Okay. Okay. I'll take the DSLRs.
I feel like I don't know what's happening.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Even though it's already happened.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
me.
New
Merry
Year.
Christmas.
Happy
Have a
We'll
great
see you
year.
in 2023.
Yeah.
And
Stay subscribed.
I hope you enjoy
Please.
the next 3 months before it inevitably gets cancelled at the year mark.
Oh, God.
I'm joking.
Tweet at TLDR Ben and at TLDR Jack if you don't want that to happen. Let us know what you think of the Daily Briefing.
Yeah.
I want feedback.
We're not cancelling it. It's doing great.
I want a random point in my Christmas plate to just be inundated with tweets. It's going to be great.
Well, you shouldn't have hidden this.
It's really sad.
15 minutes into a really long discussion
Really
about the daily
sad.
briefing.
Oh, it is sad, isn't it?
It's
Begging
really
for
sad.
sweets.
Yeah, over Christmas.
Please talk to me.
Please, over Christmas.
I'm going to be bored.
You got family, Ben.
I know.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Happy Christmas. Christmas.
Nebula subscribers not only get everything you've already watched ad-free, but also an extended edition of the show every single day. There's an offer which gets you a year of membership for less than $1 a month. That's huge because Nebula subscribers not only get everything you've already watched ad-free, but also an extended edition of the show every single day, available to watch on Nebula or stream on your podcast app of choice. They also get access to a ton of other exclusive ad-free TLDR content, as well as videos from all your favourite creators. The good news is, like I mentioned, our friends at CuriosityStream, the streaming service which offers you some of the world's best documentaries, is offering an incredible deal whereby you can get both platforms, CuriosityStream and Nebula, for less than $12 a year. That's all the documentaries you could want on CuriosityStream, and then more TLDR content on Nebula, including the extended briefing, other full exclusive TLDR videos, and it's always ad-free. Click the link below to get both services for less than $1 a month, a deal which doesn't last long, and support the channel.